Today I'm going to show you how to do an accurate drawing of a symmetrical object. So a symmetrical object is, if you divide it in half along the center line, both sides will be a mirror image of each other. To start that, what I'm going to do is draw a vertical. I'm going to just try to drop my forearm. I'm going to check it against the side of the paper. If I could take my thumb and run along the side here, I know that I have a pretty good vertical, so it's not tipping. We're going to do a block in after that. So a block in means you just take the different sections of an object and use rough geometrical shapes to fake it. So this is a block in of a bottle. Okay. This isn't meant to look good. It's not meant to do much of anything except to get started. After I get the block in, what I want to do is compare one part to another. So say the width versus the height. So how many of these does it take to get to the top of the bottle? The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hold the pencil up in front of the object, and I'm going to sight it so that, say, the right side of the bottom is here. I'm going to slide my thumb until it meets the left side of the bottom of the bottle. Then I'm going to turn that and count how many of these it takes to make the height of the bottle. So when I'm looking at my bottle and I measure, I've got 1, 2, 3, approximately 3.5 widths versus the height. So if I look at this, I can count here and check and see if I did it right. I was just faking it, so now I'm going to see how well I faked it. So go 1, 2, 3, pretty close. Okay? So the bottle is about 1 by 3.5. So I got pretty close in my blocking. How large are different parts? So how high is the neck versus, say, how wide is the bottle? So I'm going to measure, and I'm going to measure the width of the bottle and compare it to the height of the neck. When I do that, it's about the same. So if I go like this, I'm pretty close. So the neck is going to end about right there. I can look at the height of the dome of the bottle and measure that against the bottom, the width of the bottom again. So when I do that, it's about 2/3 of that. So if I do that, I'm pretty close. So now I've got my first block in and I've corrected it for proportions. I can look at this already and see my symmetry is off, so this side is wider than this side. So I'm going to adjust the center line a little bit. I'm going to check it against the side to make sure I'm not wobbling. That looks better. Okay. So after I do the first block in, I'm going to do a second block in on top of what I already began with. So I'm going to hold the pencil a little bit closer. On the first layer, I was holding it back like this to keep it loose and free. You don't want to get too tight when you're starting out, because you might put down lines you'll have a hard time giving up later on. You will be invested in them, and we don't want to get too invested in anything at this point. I've got a curve along the middle here, and one way I can keep it from tipping is I can put a horizontal line through here, and I can make sure that the side edges meet like this so it doesn't tip. Come down like this. Again, I'm using my forearm, dropping my forearm to try to get a straight line. I can do the same thing down here. I can put a horizontal across here, and I can go like this. So that's my second block in. If I look at my symmetry, that's looking a little bit strange here. If I look at this area versus this area, I'm not sure if it's the same. So I think this is cutting in just a little more. This is coming down into here. I can always measure this width across here and check it, and when I do, it's about half of this. So this width is about half of this. So I go like this and I go like there. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to come in a little bit over here. I'm going to come out here just a little bit to improve my symmetry. I can put a horizontal across the top here. Okay. So that's my second block in. And I can put my curve down in here. Don't want to forget that. So it starts to look a little round. After that, what I'm going to do is try for final outlines. So I'm going to go darker, I'm going to go harder. If at some point the lines that you started with are too dark, you can always erase them back. I'm using my kneaded eraser, a little bit of a hunk of it. So if I've got lines that are just too distracting, messy, I can always clean them up a bit. I can lighten these lines up, and I'm just don't have to deal with as much mess then. So right now I'm going to slow down. I'm going to hold the pencil up near the tip. I'm going to put in darker lines. I'm going to try for nuances. So for instance, this side up here curves in. Bottles are pretty simple, so this stage doesn't usually require you to add a whole lot of detail. Okay. One final test of whether or not your object is symmetrical is to turn the drawing upside down. If you turn it upside down, what you can see is mistakes that you wouldn't normally see because you're looking at an object as you're drawing it. Here I can check a few things out. So for instance, this looks different on this side than this. This is a little fuller. So I can come out here and make that a little fuller. If I look out over here, this is tipping. I didn't know that was tipping before. I didn't notice that. So I could come across here and then check these shapes right over here. This is where my center is. So that should be my highest point on this curve when it's upside down. I can correct that. So that's kind of like a bit of a trick. You can turn it upside down to really judge whether or not you got it right. Mistakes that you wouldn't have seen show up.